great joy and privilege to be playing for all of you tonight and to be playing with the American Philharmonic. I am a huge supporter of their goals and their mission to make music approachable and understandable to everyone. So in that spirit, I'm just going to say a few words about the piece I'm going to be playing tonight. But first, I want to ask you a question, which is, how are Rachmaninoff, Marilyn Monroe, and hypnosis linked? Well, if you can believe it, they're actually linked by the piece I will be playing tonight, which is the Second Piano Concerto by Sergei Rachmaninoff. In the movie 7-Year Itch, the character Candy Kane, played by Marilyn Monroe, upon hearing the beginning of the Second Piano Concerto, exclaims, "Every time I hear it, I go to pieces. It shakes me, it quakes me, it makes me goose-pimply all over." Well, this may not necessarily be your reaction to this piece, but it's probably true that you've heard this piece in one form or another, whether it be in movies, in TV shows, TV commercials. In fact, many singers have been inspired by the melodies of this piece and have incorporated them into their best-selling singles. For example, have you heard of Frank Sinatra's Full Moon and Empty Arms? It uses melodies from this piece. So, who do we have to thank, or I should say, what do we have to thank for the creation of this piece? Hypnosis. But before I explain that, let me backtrack a bit and talk about the composer. Sergei Rachmaninoff was born in Russia between late 1800s to mid-1900s. He was an equally successful composer, pianist, and conductor. He studied at the Moscow Conservatory, and while still a student there, he had many early successes. He wrote his first opera, which received many awards. He wrote his first piano concerto, and all sorts of solo piano pieces, including the very famous C-sharp minor prelude. Now, a few years later, he wrote his first symphony, and that was performed at the conservatory. Now, the performance of this did not receive the acclaim and praise that he was accustomed to getting. In fact, it got quite the opposite. The critics viciously denounced it, and one critic went so far as to say that this piece was only suitable for inmates at a conservatory in hell. So, that horrific reception, along with a disastrous visit with the famed author Leo Tolstoy, who after hearing Rachmaninoff play some of his music on solo piano, said to him, "Tell me, is such music needed by anybody? I must tell you, I dislike it all." Well, these two horrific events threw the young Sergei into a downward spiral, resulting in a deep, deep depression that lasted for about 3 years. And during that time, he wrote virtually nothing. He was staying with some family members who were worried about young Sergei and about his state of mind, about his health, so they encouraged him to meet with an acquaintance of theirs. And that acquaintance was Dr. Nikolai Dahl, who was an amateur musician himself, but most notably was a psychologist who was a pioneer in the field of hypnosis. So, after several visits with Dr. Dahl, he was able to finally get out of his 3 years writer's block, and he wrote this piece. So truly, we have hypnosis and Dr. Dahl to thank for the creation of the and probably 4 pieces of the same. So without further ado, we present you the Second Piano Concerto of Sergei Rachmaninoff.